one lesson my mother had taught me that never ever borrow money from somebody. तो बोलते थे कि बेटा हाथ हमेशा ऐसे रखना, ऐसे नहीं रखना. Only person working in my family was my mother, and she could only afford us to send to a high school. We never had the chance to go to IITs or IIMs, and therefore there was always somewhere in the heart, यार पढ़ाई करनी है, skill करना है. And even today I am doing a 20 weeks of leadership program in artificial intelligence. One of my associates told me that, Suresh, there is a person who's starting his IT company, and that was my breakthrough getting into an IT industry.
So in 90s itself, you raised the fund. It was a successful startup, and then you expanded to multiple countries and did acquisition in UK itself.
The satisfaction was that being Indian, who was ruled by the Britishers, when you go and buy a pure British company ruled by Britishers and owned by Britishers, and then Britishers work under your command and under your brand, technology is an enabler. If today you are thinking of starting any business, you must understand how will you deploy the technology and how will you use the IT. Failures are part of your life, and failures are the biggest strength of any entrepreneur. If you take failure as an opportunity, if you face the failure, it makes you so strong. No international customer wanted to touch a Indian product, और वो बहुत पेन था मन में. And I made a decision कि जब भी इंडिया जाऊंगा, I will start a packaging company.
Give us some those learning which can really help young professionals and the entrepreneurs. नमस्कार दोस्तों, लॉजिस्टिक्स शक्ति के पॉडकास्ट चैनल में आपका एक बार फिर से बहुत बहुत स्वागत है. जैसा हमारा आपको प्रॉमिस है, वादा है, कमिटमेंट है कि लॉजिस्टिक्स शक्ति में हम आपको कंटिन्यूअसली लॉजिस्टिक्स इंडस्ट्री और सप्लाई चेन फंक्शन से जुड़े हुए टॉप बिजनेस हेड्स, प्रोफेशनल्स और फाउंडर्स के साथ में इंट्रोड्यूस कराते रहेंगे, मिलवाते रहेंगे और उनकी लाइफ से जुड़े हुए एक्सपीरियंसेस के साथ आपकी और हमारी कंटिन्यूअसली लर्निंग होती रहेगी. एंड द अल्टीमेट ऑब्जेक्टिव फॉर कंटिन्यूअसली ग्रोइंग टुगेदर वी विल बी अचीविंग टुगेदर. तो आज जिनको साथ मैं आपको इंट्रोड्यूस करा रहा हूँ या मिलवा रहा हूँ, या आज जो हमारे मेहमान हैं, वो मेरे लिए भी बहुत पर्सनली बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हैं. मेरी लाइफ में मैंने खुद से बिजनेस की सारी बारीकियाँ उनसे सीखी हैं और अभी भी सीख रहा हूँ. और इस इंडस्ट्री में उनका अपना एक बहुत बड़ा योगदान है. और इससे ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट ये है कि उन्होंने अपनी लाइफ सेल्फ मेड पर्सन है और 3 से लेके 4 वैरायटी ऑफ प्रोफेशंस में अलग अलग कंपनी को लीड किया है और बिल्ड किया है. ही स्टार्टेड हिज करियर एज ए प्रोबेबली ए टेक्नोलॉजी और IT प्रोफेशनल. देन ही बिल्ड ए वेरी लार्ज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इन इंडिया into the IT and the technology, followed by he has participated immensely in the journey of a transformation of DTDC Express, and currently while people are taking the retirement, he is building his own startup in a technology company in the packagings by the name of DCGpac Solutions. So without delaying further, let me introduce you to Shri Suresh Bansal ji, जो हमारे लॉजिस्टिक्स शक्ति के एडवाइजरी बोर्ड मेंबर भी हैं, और उन्हीं से सुनते हैं उनकी जर्नी के बारे में. लेट्स हैव अ लर्निंग टुगेदर. थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर मेकिंग दिस टाइम पॉसिबल फॉर लॉजिस्टिक्स शक्ति पॉडकास्ट. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट फ्रॉम योर पर्सनल जर्नी एंड देन विल टेक इट फॉरवर्ड.
Amit, thank you very much. Great to meet you again. And
thank you,
it
sir.
is always pleasure to meet people like you and remain young with the young people, right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Such a great... basically, Amit, my journey has been full of excitement. Full of satisfaction and full of rewards. And I think I've been so lucky and I'm blessed by the God that, person like me could reach at such a high level and contribute to the industry as well. Okay, so basically my journey started from a very small town in Punjab called Jaito Mandi,
Bathinda ke paas.
Bathinda ke paas. And I come from a very poor family, and only person working in my family was my mother, and she could only afford us to send to a high school. I did my matric in a school in Punjab, and in Jaito Mandi only. It was a Punjabi school, and in those days in Punjab, they would teach us ABC only after 6th standard. Right. And by the time we pass our matric, we only knew few words of English called good, bad, worst or something like that. Very, very little. And Hindi ka to swali paida nahi hota tha. So it was such a...
So all the way we started in Punjabi.
Absolutely. And then she sent me to Bombay. One of my uncle used to stay there. That, okay, today your journey in Punjab is over. From now on, you have to feed yourself, you have to learn yourself and make your own life.
तो आप हीरो बनने के लिए नहीं गए थे सर? क्योंकि पंजाब से तो बहुत सारे लोग हीरो बनने भी गए होंगे उसी पीरियड में शायद.
I came, she put me into a Punjab mail by buying a ticket from my teacher. You know, she borrowed money from my teacher, bought a ticket for me, and I landed in Dadar in a half pant and a cotton shirt. That's it. So I went to my uncle's home, and he was a senior guy with the DCM mail at that time in Bombay. And with his help, he admitted me to a college in Worli in Bombay. And I started my graduation from that day. So that
11th onwards,
I was in
11th class.
I have been in Bombay. Problem was we could never afford our fees and a full-time college. So I have to earn. So he got me a job in DCM store. So daytime I have to work, and only morning college I could afford. So I used to go at 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock college, and then go to DCM store at 10 o'clock, come back at 8 o'clock, go home, cook myself, read myself, get ready in the morning, go back to the college, and that is how the graduation
the whole life
started.
Self-funded, self-dependent, completely self-reliant.
Absolutely. So those were the days, and we have gone through the grind, we have gone through the hard work, and nobody will help you other than some support. Okay, I will get you admission, but you have to work yourself. And one lesson my mother had taught me, that never ever borrow money from somebody. Okay, तो बोलते थे कि बेटा हाथ हमेशा ऐसे रखना, ऐसे नहीं रखना, right? And that's the teaching goes with me till date. So she, it is her blessing that I'm here today. And from there on, I got a small job into an export company. I almost worked like a clerk or a peon, you can say glorified peon, who would go
doing
and
everything,
deposit checks in the bank, ye kar lo, wo kar lo, filing kar lo, those kind of things. But I never stopped my studies. I never ever stopped my studies. In fact, there was a joke in my college, because after 3-4 months, it goes on, and you are a backbencher and you are watching what professor is saying, because he's talking all in English. And I never knew Hindi, and I never knew English. Both. And the lectures are in English, Amit. And one day they created tutorials and they divide the class into small groups. And professor asked me, Suresh, tell me about this.
Oh.
And I looked at his face here. What is he talking? What is he asking? So I asked him, Sarji, tusi ki kya? I asked him in Punjabi. And all the boys and girls laughed at me, and I felt so bad, so bad. That is the day when I cried at the Worli sea face, and I took a decision that I will never face this again. So from that day, I started learning English. So Repridex, this thing, that thing. And I said, I will not fail. I will learn English, I'll master it, and I'll make my career.
Such a massive beginning.
Yeah. So that is how, it's a determination which and something has to hit you. And then you have to make a decision whether you fall for it or you will face it.
Stand up and fight again.
Yeah, and face it. So from the export company, I got a offer from a logistic company, freight company, Sealand.
So those starting days also you've been in logistics.
My actually first job as a executive was with Sealand. And Sealand had just came to India in Bombay.
Shipping company.
Yes, absolutely. American company, which was then bought over by Maersk later on. It is part of the Maersk now. So Sealand taught me a lot of things, about shipping, logistics,
export,
big
documentation.
Big ships used to come. We used to handle a lot of ro-ro ships and container ships. First time container cargo had started in the country, and it was a big thing. In the shipping company, you learned a lot of things: international culture, import, export, international trade, and all our functional head were expatriates, American, European, and it was a different culture which you faced and you learned through that organization. One of the common friend.
So this company, this job of logistics, you started after graduation or during the graduation? After graduation,
yes.
In Bombay itself.
In Bombay itself. So during my job with Sealand, one of my associate told me that, Suresh, there is a person from California in India who's starting his IT company, and he's looking for somebody to join him as a senior person who will handle everything. I said, look, I never heard IT. I don't know about IT. Okay, why are you telling me about this? And he said, no. He actually wants somebody who's non-IT, because he himself is so technical and he feels he gets drowned into his job, and he wants someone to look after all the other functions. And that was my breakthrough, getting into an IT industry.
Which year it would have been?
1981. 1981, I joined this IT company, and we quickly moved to an association of companies which was getting into India at that time. So the Digital Equipment Corporation, which was world's second largest IT company, which was thrown out along with IBM by George Fernandez in Janata
in
India. This was the first multinational company which came into India.
So during Coca-Cola and those timing,
all of them were thrown out.
Correct.
And this is the era we have seen.
Yes.
So this was a group of companies which were run by Hinditron, and I joined them, and slowly, very quickly, I was so keen and so interested. I learned technology. I learned what is hard. Those days it was only hardware.
So all the way from a Punjabi and parallel English and Hindi, and then the technology straight away computer also.
And we used to have 128 kilobyte hard disks and handling it very carefully. So we made computers to handle Asia 82 at that time, which was the sports, Asian Games. It was held in Delhi in 1982, and we worked with ECIL, made some computers, and we serviced the Asian Games in 1982 in Delhi. And that was
you were supplying the computer?
We were supplying the terminals, and ECIL was supplying the main computer.
Okay.
So it was a very satisfying journey. As part of the entire ecosystem, I very quickly moved to general manager, assistant vice president, became vice president.
Beautiful.
And I had hired many good people from the rest of the industry. Come 1990, we all decided that we have learned enough about IT. We must start our own IT company. Own IT company. So 4 of us came out. I was the main founder, and 3 of them my co-founders. We set up an IT company in Bombay called Melstar Information Technology Limited.
So it was a full throttle
IT company.
Technology company. Into software, hardware, both, or only?
It started as a hardware company.
Okay.
We became the distributor for IBM. We used to sell ThinkPad those days, which was owned by IBM those days. It was an IBM brand. ThinkPad was an IBM brand. So we were distributing their hardware, and we had a lot of other activities in the hardware in Bombay. And in 1994, we fully moved into software, because we decided that the future is in software, not in hardware.
So within 4 years, you just pivot into the software.
Absolutely. So we started building a very beautiful software center in Bombay in MIDC. And we bought a building, and this building, our own building, and we did furnishing worth crores of rupees. And we had a fantastic, very beautiful looking international office. And the journey started from there, where we never stopped. So we kept on expanding. We took another software center in Sieves, the second one, the third one. We signed up with a company in America called Ingress, which was bought over by IBM and became DB2. So we were doing
during this period, this would have been a leading organization, Melstar?
It was quite a famous company. And in fact, I was part of the MATE, which used to be Manufacturers Association for Information Technology. And I used to be in the executive member, along with Shiv Nadar and Parveen Gandhi and all the big stalwarts of IT in those days. And Raj Saraf, Zenith, those are my old
Zenith
friends.
Computer was there. Wipro started during the same period.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So IT was extremely rewarding. In this company, we went on to expand into Japan, into Germany, into UK, into the US, and we kept on growing. And then we raised...
what was the business model when you were expanding globally?
We were on the mainframe application support, maintenance, bug fixing, and testing. That was our business model in those days. So we'll pick a company which has a large application. For example, we set up a software center in Bangalore near the old airport for IBM. And we were managing the entire IBM's billing application worldwide. And we will fix that, we will maintain it, we'll do testing, new releases, all of those things we used to do in Melstar. So when in 1999, before that, we raised funds in Melstar.
Okay, so that culture was there, that process was there during those 90s?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So we raised private funds. I had very important people who came onto my board, and it was a corporate compliance, it was a management of the board. It suddenly changed from a personal board meetings to a professional board meetings, and then we were preparing to go for IPO. 1999, sometime when Vaishya Bank came for IPO, we also came out with an IPO, full-fledged IPO. It was directly listing on BSE and NSE in one single go. And we had ICSI, Somittal as our banker, Uday Kotak I met at that time. They were handling my IPO. And Reliance Private Equity was handling my IPO at that time. So a very exciting time. Those days, you could keep the money for 42 days and do the refund after the 42 days for the oversubscribed amount. Now, we had some 400 times oversubscription. Our IPO was only 25 crores and the interest income was 42 crores.
For this 45
crore, yes. So those were very different days. Nowadays, you cannot keep money. Laws have changed. SEBI has come into picture, and they are much different today than those days. So we went IPO. We used to do work with UK company, lot of UK companies, and we signed up a company called British Petroleum, very big organization.
Absolutely.
Those days.
Still they are
we took their gold application, silver application for support and maintenance. I met a gentleman called Anthony Gale over there, and Anthony was running his own IT company. Okay, so we decided to buy that company and move to UK. So I did my first international acquisition of buying an IT company on London Bridge. And this is right outside London Bridge Station, where the Shard building has come up. Shard building has come up after breaking half of my office. Half office is still there where I used to sit.
Oh, great.
Okay, so
in 90s itself, you raised the fund. It was a successful startup. Absolutely. And then you expanded to multiple countries and did acquisition in UK itself. Great.
So the satisfaction was that being Indian, who were ruled by the Britishers, when you go and buy a pure British company ruled by Britishers and owned by Britishers, and then, about 50, 60 people, Britishers work under your command and under your brand. I think it's a very different...
a real big self-pride.
Absolutely.
And the pride for the country.
So I moved to UK, became a British citizen, British government. Within 4 days, they gave me residency to me and family, and we started living in UK because of this IT company. And my dream was to list it on London Stock Exchange, LSE. While this was a dream, London Stock Exchange also went down. Not much was happening in the UK. And I got suddenly a lead for Citibank PBG from New York. One of my friends from Switzerland, Gordon, told me, Suresh, it's a big opportunity and I will give you a contact. Go and get this contract. So we got the contract, but we didn't know what to do with it because we had no knowledge about the PBG. We did not know their mainframe system, their application. And, you have to find someone now to service this customer, which was a lifetime opportunity for me and for my company. So we found an IT company on Wall Street called Global Consulting Inc., run by a Jewish and an American who has been doing the Citibank application for many, many years, decades. So we decided to buy that company. So I did my second acquisition on Wall Street.
In the US?
In the US. I moved to US and became green card holder. And I started running my office from Wall Street. Okay. Then 9/11 happened and I moved my office to Empire State Building from there. So US Citibank grew very, very big. They gave me Europe out of Switzerland. I used to go to Zurich almost every 45 days. We had a center in Zurich outside the station. And then they gave me Asia Pacific out of Singapore. From Tampines, we started managing Japan, Australia, China, and all the wealthy applications from all these branches of Citibank. So that was a absolutely exciting journey. And
it was a year of?
This was year of 2005, 2004-5, and we have been doing wonderful job, great job, and the company is listed, and we have all the praises. But then, always something, comes.
God is also having some master plan.
Yeah, absolutely. They have a master plan, and completely out of nowhere, in a single quarter, I lost both Citibank PVG and British Petroleum to Infosys in an outsourcing bid. So in a single quarter, two of my largest customers, who were contributing 72% of my sales, are gone.
So what would have been the reason behind this?
Because I was doing all on-site business in US, Zurich, and Singapore, and Infosys was at 1/4 the cost doing it in India as an offshore.
So the BPO process or KPO process took a bit this business.
Offshore software development. Infosys has set up the world's best and finest center in Bangalore. And anybody coming to there will say, oh my God, what a place in India. And anybody will fall for that center. And Citibank and British Petroleum also decided to save a lot of money and outsource to India.
Oh, and suddenly
that is how we lost it.
Oh.
So, bad mood. I decided to sell my company. And at that time, I sold my IT company to Jash Birla Group in Bombay. And since then,
they are into education.
Birlas, it is Birlas whose father had died in a aircraft crash in Bangalore. So it's that group. Just Birlas have many groups.
Many groups. So this is they are also in education.
Also a lot of companies. Okay. So I sold the company to them, and I decided to reskill myself. After so many years.
So first decade or 2 decade of first जिंदगी का पहला पड़ाव बहुत बड़ी massive success के साथ एक बहुत बड़ा
close हुआ. And of course, when I sold the company, I had the money, so it was great. But running an organization is a different charm. It's a different satisfaction, So coming to, as I told you, I have been part-timer in the college. We never had the chance to go to IITs or IIMs. We never had the money. Nobody guided us. And therefore, there was always somewhere in the heart कि यार पढ़ाई नहीं करे, यार पढ़ाई करनी है, skill करना है. So almost every 2 years, I have taken at least one management course all my life.
This is what the learning I am carrying also from you.
So every year, every 2 years, I have been to almost the best schools in the world. You name it: Harvard, Berkeley, Kellogg, INSEAD, ISV, Indian Institute of Management, IIM Bangalore. All of them.
All top management colleges you visited.
NTU in Singapore, Berkeley in California. So many colleges I have gone to learn and to learn and to learn and always learn. And even today, as we speak, I am doing a 20 weeks of leadership program in artificial intelligence from ISV. Okay, so learning never stops. So that is one chapter which I wanted to, tell you about my journey. The learning should never stop, irrespective where you are and how far you know things in your life, right? So I decided to come to ISB in Hyderabad from US to attend a general management course to learn something new.
So closing the chapter of the technology,
yes.
Such a massive success,
yes.
And then there is a sudden, jhatka you may call.
Yes, it is. It
and
was
then,
a big jhatka.
Have you not thought about restarting the technology company again?
No, I don't think anybody can recreate.
Very difficult.
Very tough. Very tough. Difficult. It never happened.
Yeah.
I don't have any examples in the world that somebody could do it. And what you do with your passion from scratch, I don't think you can ever recreate that.
You may do something different.
You may do something different.
Yeah.
So I came to ISB in April 2005. And I met Suresh Chakravarti, my, Dada and our chairman from DTDC Express. He has been the founder, a wonderful person. We spent 15 days together and we never knew how fast that time is gone, And we became friends. We were discussing, talking, sharing. And I came to know so much about DTDC at that time. And we were running a project on DTDC going global as our project for ISV. And when the final day came, I presented that project. And people wondered whether I am in DTDC. And I said, no, I am not from DTDC. And I think...
so you adopted so quickly about
yes.
the DTDC.
But I learned a lot from that project, that how strong and wonderful this organization
Potential is there.
Potential is big. And this is unpolished diamond. And at that time, chairman's brother was separating. He was selling his equity. And I was in the US. And then chairman said, Suresh, why don't you come to India? India need people like you who have experience. And we are...
But you did not have a plan to come to India otherwise?
No, I did not have. But I was sad and I was having lost my company. I was wondering what to do. So I was in that situation. और वो कहते हैं ना, भगवान अपने आप वो सिचुएशन ऐसा क्रिएट कर,
लॉ ऑफ अट्रैक्शन की,
एब्सोल्यूट हैपन. So CMD came to my home in the US and we spoke long and I said, okay दादा, एक काम करते हैं, मेरे को जो DTDC US है उसका 50% मेरे को दे दो. I wrote a check and gave it to him as I became a shareholder of DTDC
US. You invested and started.
तो बोला चलो इसको स्टार्ट करके देखते हैं, एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं कुछ.
Got it.
So I started looking after, along with, as I had the time in hand, along with Seema, we started looking after DTDC US. And we saw that this is very different business. Chairman invited me to come to India and I said, okay, chalo, mere ko bhi India वापस जाना है. I was not feeling good in US anyway. So my journey back to India started. Credit goes to DTDC, credit goes to Dada. And I think I'm very grateful to him.
Probably India, you came 2007 or 2000.
I joined DTDC officially in September 2005. And I got transferred back to India in 4th July 2006. That was the time when I came back from the US.
Absolutely.
So to start a completely new journey. And when I told my friends and my brothers about that I'm joining a courier company, they were so upset. That how can you think like this from an IT company where, your lowest worker is a software engineer, your customer is a CIO, CTO, you work with intelligentsia, you're 5 days a week, okay, and in the Empire State Building at a corner office, now you have to work for a courier company. And where 95-97% employees are blue
Absolutely.
collar. It's blue collar.
Blue collar, and, highly uncertain environment.
There was one cabin in DTDC Delhi, Mr. Gangoli's cabin, if you remember.
Yes.
And I was sitting there, AC will work half time, it will not work half time. And I was in my suit and I was wondering, where have I come? Why I'm here? So that's a kind of, journey.
Yeah, in fact, I can recall one incident since I've been the part of that journey as well. So one of the international guest has come, yes, right, and then we had a certain issue on the cleaning and hygiene side. So those was there.
Absolutely. So now I was in a dilemma to continue or go back to the US. And naturally, anybody coming from that background would feel it very badly when you hit a company like that. And then I started reading a book by Jim Collins, Good to Great. And उसमें एक line था, that if you wait to enjoy your end of your journey, you will never enjoy. You have to start enjoying your journey itself.
As a process, as a process.
Yeah. And if you love that, if you enjoy that, then I think you'll always be happy man.
Absolutely.
तो मैंने सीमा को बोला ठीक है ये कोट बोर्ड छोड़ो. I put on my jean, t-shirt, and I started working in the night shift.
Yeah,
in the operations.
You personally told me
yes,
how to get into the operation, yes, and we worked night operations.
Absolutely.
From there, actually, for courier company, the operation is a backbone.
Absolutely.
So that is what the learning.
All the years I worked in DTDC,
yeah,
especially at the supply chain when we started, it was Greenfield project, which I started in DTDC. I never stepped into my office without visiting operation first and never left the office without visiting operation again. तो मॉर्निंग इवनिंग ऑपरेशन में जाना ही जाना है, दैट इज व्हाट CMD taught us कि सब कुछ वहाँ पे है. You know, when you go to operation, you know what's happening, what is the hard work these people are putting, what is going right, what is going wrong, which customer is sending you parcel, and what is happening with the operation. And that's, I think, the greatest learning from the logistics which I have. You know,
hard learning, physical learning.
Absolutely. And I think then there has never been no stopping in DTDC. DTDC was a madhouse.
Yeah.
We worked 30 and a half days a month. CMD is such a hard-working person, and I became another mad person along with him. And together, we would travel, we would work, we will keep meeting in the morning, Saturday, work on Sunday. And my one suitcase was always ready. I will come, leave a suitcase, take another one, and travel. And all that time I traveled. And I think what we achieved in DTDC now is a great, great story. I have played a small part in that. And I'm so happy and so satisfied. In DTDC, some of the things which, I was very closely associated was building early days of technologies, having the finance reporting to me, doing compliances, doing the operation meeting. We started budget meeting. You remember, yes. It was never heard. I started giving lessons to the management team on how to create value. And you remember the Mission 500 crore,
yes.
We created, and we said, what are the building blocks to build a 500 crore company? Because we were 130 crore company at that time. And we already set our vision to create a 500 crore company. And when we achieved 500 crore company, we set the next vision to create a 1,000 crore company, So those are the days, and, it is the momentum you create. And I think our CMD is greatest person in creating a momentum.
Who is creating leaders.
Yeah. And I salute him that he had the guts to hire a founder, CEO, and chairman of a company for DTDC. Absolutely. And I salute him, right? I mean, nobody could have hired me, but how he got it, how I'm into DTDC.
This tendency, in fact, this tendency is having from, very, very initial days.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So he always look for, smart people under him.
Absolutely.
And no matter how...
I think our wavelength matched so much in DTDC that we were two sides of the same coin.
Absolutely.
Same coin. And together, we spend maximum time. Anybody other than, of course, Bhaviji and his children. If anybody spend more time with chairman of DTDC, it is I have been the lucky, certainly. And I have been the very fortunate to spend my time with him, learn so many things with him. And then speed doubles up. Yeah. When you are leader and you are together and you are creating a story, the speed doubles up. In the next 15 years, we set up 9 subsidiaries and joint ventures along with CMD, UK, US, Canada, Germany, Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai, Australia, China, Saudi, Dubai. Yes. And then we did 2 acquisitions. We did Eurostar Express LLC in Dubai, which we merged into DTDC Express. We also bought a freight company in Bangalore called Nikos Freight and merged that with DTDC also. So it was such a new experience was happening. And then we had our investors, Reliance, and chairman's brother had sold his equity to Reliance. And Reliance was, as an investor, a very demanding company. So one of my role was also to make sure that investors are satisfied, their MIS goes on time. We did not have at that time a full-time CFO even, so I had to play that role. So board meetings and, looking after the investor relationship was also part of my portfolio. And I think that is what gave me a lot more deeper insights into the logistics. And then came a day we said, okay, we now need to expand DTDC horizontally. So we set up our dream that we will set up an e-commerce, DTDC e-commerce, we'll set up DTDC retail, we'll set up supply chain. So we had fulfillment, DTDC fulfillment. So we started expanding. And I'm very happy that after the express business of DTDC, I started the new division for supply chain. And the first vehicle, the supply chain truck, was sent from Gurgaon, a small office which I took, separate office,
Gurgaon to
Bombay.
Bombay, correct.
You know?
So such a massive and exciting, sweet memories of DTDC, certainly. So thank you, sir. When such a nice, exciting journey of DTDC you have mentioned. You have such a contribution that this journey cannot be completed in 10, 15, 20 minutes. It may require multiple podcasts. So let's give us some hard learning all the way your personal and professional life and successful 360-degree view of success and and losing the organization, that too successfully, and then restarting all the way from technology to a courier, and then transforming the courier into express and the brand of DTDC. And the journey of DTDC transformation is still going on under the leadership of CMD and Mr. Abhishek. So give us those learning which can really help young professionals and the entrepreneurs.
See, Amit, when you get into an entrepreneurship journey, failures are part of your life. It's a integral part of your journey, actually. And somebody who says,
many times we miss that.
I never failed. I think
then
he has not
learned.
learned.
Yes.
He has not learned.
Yeah.
And failures are the biggest strength of any entrepreneur. If you take failure as an opportunity, if you face the failure, it makes you so strong, because then the failure pushes you to innovate, to think alternate, to struggle hard कि यार इसको कैसे करना है,
कैसे ठीक करना है, how to bounce back.
I was going through one of the videos from ISB only last night, and he says when the crisis hit you, then there are two things you should face. One, of course, is a threat. That what will happen because of this thing, what will be the consequences, and they gave so many case studies of Nestle and so many other other multinationals who face the crisis, and crisis will always create a threat कि अभी क्या होगा, इसके बाद कंपनी बंद हो जाएगी क्या, and it is also an opportunity. And he said, what will you choose? Will you choose threat or an opportunity? Okay.
Under the threat, you get depressed,
yes.
and you start assuming.
And the professor said, you have to do both. Okay. You have to choose both. That, of course, the priority is that you face the crisis, you handle the crisis clearly,
and do take corrective
and
measures.
Calculate into your life कि यार ये तो हो गया. अब जैसे मेरा बैंक चला गया, मेरा business
City Bank you mentioned, right? British Petroleum you mentioned.
So what do you do? I mean, you can't keep crying. You said, okay, ये हो गया. Now what else? Is there an opportunity? Is there an opportunity to go back to India? Is there an opportunity to learn another industry? So I think one of the hardest lesson you learn all your life, that is full of challenges. The ups and downs will come. How fast, how strong you stand and face the challenges is the test of the time which you go through. And more you go through, more hardened you get, and more cool you become. Now, if the crisis hit you today, you don't get rattled so much as we used to get rattled 20 years back or 30 years back.
That become a normal,
Absolutely.
And you know how to sail through.
Another learning is, many a time we create crisis ourselves. And especially for the startup friends, we overlook the compliances, we overlook the law of the land, and we say, okay, chalega, chal jayega, baad mein kar lenge, right? So we create crises ourselves which are in making, and it will hit you back very badly in a few years' time. Now, those are another set of crises. There could be natural crises like COVID-19, which nobody was responsible, right? So there could be a crisis come out of small mistake made by your company through social media. Social media has become so strong. So how do you handle these crises are the most important thing which you learn all these years. Another couple of things which I learned is that you have to steadfast to serve your customers. If you continuously work to create a customer-centric organization, and I think then nobody can beat you. Ultimately, if you are in trouble, they will stand by you. Even customer will stand by you. So that's another learning, that you completely focus on your customer and build your organization which is customer-centric. In any and every function you create must contribute to customer experience and a better customer experience. Otherwise, that function has no meaning.
Absolutely.
Right? Third thing I learned is technology. I come from tech background, running a tech company, and even those days IT was very important. We always used technology. And when I started my new packaging company, the name of the company is DCGpac Limited. It's not a DCGpacking Limited. Okay, it's a technology, and I have learned that technology is an enabler. You can, if today you're thinking of starting any business, you must understand how will you deploy the technology and how will you use the IT. And that's another lesson learned, which has completely changed after the AI has come, and we'll talk separately on that.
Sure, sir. So great learning and good lessons. So let's come to your third journey and third phase of the journey, which is DCGpac or the DCG Technology Company. And how the idea came, and it was I believe 2007 founded. I know those days. First time you saw on the website
2005.
Got it.
So Amit, DCGpac का आइडिया भावना से आया. I have been traveling all over the world all through my life, right from Japan to US, and those were the days when India was still doing good exports, product exports. हमारे देखते देखते China overtook everybody, overtook India, and their product became 98% market share, और हम लोग नीचे चले गए. And we completely lost out.
We kept losing the ground.
Losing the ground. And when you stay out of India and you start seeing कि क्या कारण क्या है इसका, दो बड़े कारण. Number one, consistent quality of the product, which we lacked as a Indian companies, and a bad and poor packaging quality. Absolutely third grade packaging, and that is the reason no international customer wanted to touch a Indian product. और वो बहुत पेन था मन में कि यार अगर कभी इंडिया जाएंगे तो आई वांट टू स्टार्ट एटलीस्ट पैकेजिंग कंपनी. मैं प्रोडक्ट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में नहीं जा सकता हूँ. आई हैव नो बैकग्राउंड एंड आई विल नेवर गेट इनटू मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, बट एटलीस्ट पैकेजिंग में can I contribute and do something to improve the situation? And that was my wish when I was in the US. So there was a company in America called uline.com, and I used to get their catalog at home. It was such a wonderful, beautiful company. It was an online e-commerce packaging company. And I made a decision that जब भी इंडिया जाऊँगा, I will start a packaging company. So when I came to India to join DTDC, I told CMD of DTDC कि दादा मुझे packaging company start करनी है.
Okay.
And this was my almost like a precondition. And दादा was so अभी सुरेश करते हैं, चलो साथ में करेंगे. तो CMD of DTDC and myself co-founded DCGpac Limited, and on 21st November 2005, even before I came back to US.
So that was the parallel journey with DCG or DTDC together started.
So since then, Seema started looking after this because I got engrossed into DTDC. And DTDC was such a journey that it completely pulled into DTDC, and I could not give 1 minute to DCG. And by nature, I personally believe that you can never look after two businesses. Never, and you should not. So one time, one thing only. When I was in DTDC, 100% DTDC only. And when I came to DCG, 100% of DCG. Then I will not do anything for DTDC. I told Dada in 2019 that मेरा बहुत सारा काम हो गया and I want to pursue my passion. ये मेरा personal passion था कि मुझे पैकेजिंग के लिए कुछ करना है.
But this business is very, very thin margin business, and traditionally controlled by the manufacturer or the factories of packaging जो डब्बा produce करते हैं largely, and the margins I believe and the competition is cutthroat there. So what is the value we are bringing, and what is actually the vision you are driving, sir?
See, if I ask you, there were बनिया का दुकान, and बनिया वाला आपको चावल गेहूं घर पे भेजता था, राशन भेजता था, margin very low anyway, commodity business है. Then why did we shift to Blinkit? Okay, why did we shift to Swiggy or Big Basket? And there were shops we used to buy products from retail stores. Why did we go to Amazon? What did Amazon add to the old school of trading, right? And what did Airbnb added? What did Uber did? They are not a taxi company, but they added some value.
Completely correct.
I think the same context. The industry is fully dominated by manufacturers. But manufacturers have some limitation which they cannot service the customer. For example, 97% packaging manufacturers are only manufacturing 1 or 2 categories. 1 or 2% making 3, 4 or 5 categories. Nobody makes all. That means a customer is faced to deal with 25, 30, 40 vendors. Number one. Number two, 98% of them are local. They have only one factory and they are in Faridabad, so they can service the customers in Delhi NCR. What happens if you have a plant in Chennai and you have a central buying department in Delhi who is full of Hindi-speaking people? Now you set up a plant in Madras and now you have to either ship the packaging from Delhi to Madras, pay 35-40% more, or set up a buying department in Chennai and learn Telugu and deal with the local people, have a procurement department and buy it locally. So there's a big problem. What happens to a small seller who will list his product on Flipkart or on Amazon? Where will he find his packaging, Amazon branded packaging or Flipkart branded packaging? He has to go here and there, go to wholesale market, buy some. Maybe he doesn't know whether it's a duplicate packaging, it's a original packaging. He doesn't know that. And he has a big problem to ship his parcel. If he goes to a manufacturer, he has to buy thousands of quantity. He has to wait for 2-3 weeks and he has to pay advance payment. An MSME customer, an e-seller, how will he ship his online orders for 20 order, 30 order? Where will he find packaging? No manufacturer can do it. So we saw a big gap over here, very big gap, which technology can fill it. So we call ourselves, Amit, packaging orchestrator, which brings technology, supply chain experience, and packaging domain expertise together to solve customer problem. So we are a customer-facing company. We only solve customer problems, and we feel all the manufacturers are my friends, they are my capacity, they complement me, and I'm only a value-added company for them. Think about logistics. 20, 30, 40 years back, they were a truck manufacturer and they were a manufacturing company. वो ट्रक खरीदते थे, खुद ही ड्राइवर ढूंढते थे, खुद ही डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन करते थे. Then came the 3PL companies, right? 3PL क्या बोलता है? सर आपको ट्रक खरीदने की जरूरत नहीं है. I will buy the truck. I will get the driver. I will go and pick up material from you. I'll ship it and I can. People did not believe them at that time. But today, in 30, 40 years time, 3PL industry has become so great in logistics that even the biggest company in the world, including Apple or Apple jasa company, multi-trillion company, they can also trust a 3PL company
for their
with their eyes closed.
Yes,
they all believe that 3PL company can do a better job than their internal department. I also believe that I'm a 3PL of packaging.
Packaging 3PL.
And one day, customer will say, अरे यार इतने लोगों से कैसे डील करें सुरेश, आप जैसा कंपनी चाहिए, I'll give you everything, you only manage everything. And that's exactly what we do. We built a beautiful, fantastic technology platform right from, I'll give you only 2 quick examples, Amit. Design to distribution. So let's take the example of Zomato. They have 200,000 restaurants or any other brand which has multiple dealers, franchisees, restaurants, retail stores, and you want to standardize your packaging brand all over the country at such a distributor level. You don't want these partners to buy or produce local packaging because that could be wrong, that may not be standardized, that can spoil your brand. And now with CPCB rules, it can even have a legal liability on you for plastic if it's not up to the mark, right? So there are compliances which has to be met. That means you need somebody who can standardize your packaging, who can guarantee the compliances, who can make sure quality is standardized, who can do the complete distribution. So what we do, Amit, we get the design done, we get the approval done, we get the manufacturing done, we bring the manufactured product.
So manufacturing, we take the order from the customer and then look for the manufacturer?
We have partners, we get the manufacturing done, we bring the stock to our fulfillment center, we set up the quality lab approved by ISO 9000 and Flipkart, so we can do the testing of all kind of packaging products. We do the inventory management, we do the kitting, we do the last mile delivery, we do the RTO management, we do the customer service, and
so many multiple points are there which we don't
Altogether.
imagine can be there as a
And
valued
then
service.
a customer like Zomato could make one single payment, or somebody else can. A big brand is relieved that, okay, my product is standardized, my brand is protected, my customer experience. Because remember, packaging is the first statement about your brand experience with the customer.
That is the first impression.
That's the first impression. If that gets bad, then your customer experience is bad. Baki product to baad ki baat hai. Right? So packaging is the first thing. I think we play
So we're creating the experience for the
significant
customers.
experience for customers, that for the brand. So we are very proud that today for top brands, we run 10 packaging online stores, for marketplace model, for farm packaging, for food and grocery companies, and we deal with their communities. And we call them, it's a DTDC franchisee community, or this is a Flipkart sellers community. And then,
Dark store company,
So they now have more option to buy packaging from a good source, which is approved by the brand, and which is a genuine packaging. And for the brand, it's a great solution.
Got it. So, give us a little three of your journey. One was your technology, and DTDC was a transition phase and the transformation journey you participated. And DCGpac you are building, and they both are, value-driven organizations. So, give us a little more idea how you pursue, or, what is your choice between value and the profit, or driving both?
Yes, very, very good question, Amit, and close to my heart. I think profit and value are two sides of the same coin. Yes. However, there is a third piece to it, which you did not ask, which is much more important than these two. And that's a cash flow.
Correct. Okay. Absolutely.
Now, you could be highly profitable, but you cannot pay your salaries because all your profit is lying with the customer as a debtor, as a long outstanding debt. And by making a lot of profit, not collecting the money, you have actually lost and parked a lot of cash flow with the customers. For example, when you make a sale of 100 rupees, you will end up paying 18 rupees in the GST. 10 tarikh ko aapko GST pay kar dena hai, right? And customer gets a credit. Now, if the customer doesn't pay for 90 days or 120 days, he has used your GST credit for all these days free of charge. And you are out of cash. Aapne maal bhi de diya, और आपने 18% भी दे दिया. If your margin is less than 18%, then you are out of cash from the day one. Okay. Also, if you do not collect your money on time and you book profit, the income tax वाला बोलेगा मेरा income tax दो आप, तो you end up paying 30% on that profit to the income tax also. That means you are again out of cash और पैसा आपके पास आया नहीं है. So you could be highly profitable company but no cash. You could be highly cash company but no profit also. For example, a Marwadi or a number 2 person who does business in cash, they don't book profit officially. They have a lot of cash and their profits are very little. So you will say the profit to hai nahi, right? In both these cases, you cannot create value because you are in trouble. You are in trouble. On one side, you have a official company which made profit, but you have no cash flow. You are in trouble. You cannot grow. You cannot reinvest. And therefore, you are in problem. Anyway, you cannot create valuation. On the other hand, the cash guy, he never booked anything officially. So, koi dikha nahi payega, there is no valuation anyway. So, both cases are very, very bad. It is only and only when you run organization systematically. You run organization which is sustainable growth, sustainable profitability, and you run an organization which is fully compliant. And there are so many tick boxes you create from the day one if you want to create a value. And value is the ultimate reward of running a business. And value is far larger than the profit. If, let us say, take the example of Google, they get, let us say, 100 multiple of P. For every $1 profit they make, shareholder make $100 more. Yeah. Now, can you believe कि $1 का 100 कैसे होता है? ये value में होता है. Okay? And I think every owner, every founder, every entrepreneur must rethink कि why are they running this company only for dividend? क्योंकि dividend तो कभी मिलता ही नहीं है. आपने profit कमा लिया तो आप फिर से लगा दोगे, आप फिर से और debt लोगे, और आपका कर्जा कर्जा बढ़ता रहेगा, तो you are never been able to take the money out. It is only when you create valuation and you go to the stock market or you go M&A or you sell your company or part of the company, that is the time when you can create a lot of wealth. That's the big difference. So creating value must be the first priority.
And creating a sustainable organization with fully compliant.
Absolutely. Right. That is what it is.
So this subject is also very vast. It requires further more time.
Oh, big subject. Yes.
So recently, sir, you launched the DCGpac into Middle East as well, precisely in Dubai and UAE, and expanding further. So give us a little more input and insight in the Middle East market and India-Middle East trade.
So Amit, basically I come from international market. Yeah. So it is my very nature that I want to do international business. And in the packaging from the day one, we decided that sustainable packaging is a big piece. And in the future, we can start exporting sustainable packaging from India to 3 or 4 big territories. One, of course, is the Middle East, which is close by to India. Then the Europe, America, and Australia. Okay. So we wanted to start our journey and learn how it happened in the packaging industry. Okay. So we made a decision. We did some research for 6 months in Dubai market, and we found it's a beautiful market. It has everything. It is a growing market. E-commerce market is growing tremendously. And Dubai government is pushing the people to set up manufacturing in Dubai. And they have almost every infrastructure. And it's so close, 3.5 hours. And Dubai is becoming a center of the entire MENA area, Middle East and MENA area, including all the African countries get service from Dubai. And therefore, Dubai is a natural choice if you want to experiment anything on the international. Anything on the international, Dubai is the
could be a first stepping stone.
It's the first step where you learn. You will, test your waters, and you can make your team ready, experience the export, import, documentation, all of that, and then you can step up your act and go to Europe from there. So the way we saw that same business model what we run in India, that there also customers are facing same kind of problem. They were buying from others and they wanted technology. There were no company which offers a packaging platform what DCGpac offers.
So DCGpac became the first mover advantage also there in the UAE.
And I'm very happy. It's growing month on month and we are profitable. Within 6 months we became profitable, and since then it's a profitable company.
Great.
Yeah.
So let's move next a little bit more on the Logistics Shakti side. So thank you very much being a part of our advisory board and continuously mentoring us and guiding us on this. Now we are having a supply chain management Middle East Conclave and the award, 23rd and 24th. So this is where largely the Indian logistics industry aspiring to expand beyond India. As you mentioned, Dubai could be the first stepping stone. So what is your experience and the take for the logistics industry people and for Logistics Shakti to take this initiative?
Amit, I think first of all, I must congratulate you.
Thank you, sir.
This is such a fantastic thinking. Because nobody thought that we will link logistics to the international people so quickly, so easily, and create such a platform that everybody can benefit. I'm so excited because I come from international background, and when anybody or any idea which is India idea and goes outside India, then I am full of excitement. I am full of excitement. I think Dubai, as I said earlier, from my packaging industry, this is the most relevant place to be there and connect with the international logistic partners, international customers. And Dubai is a common ground for Europe, for Middle East, and for India. Okay, this is a stepping stone for many logistic companies, many Indian companies who are looking to do supplies and supply chain in the Middle East. Not only for logistic industry, it is also great for the end customers who do a lot of exports to Middle East. Okay, they also need to learn. And the opportunity you are providing and the chapters and the sections which we have created are so modern, so latest, so apt for the current situation, where we will, you have covered areas like innovation, technology, the India-Europe,
Middle East corridor, Bharat Mart,
and such a wonderful set of speakers who are absolutely authority in themselves. And I'm just waiting to be there. And I want all my friends in logistics industry to join us in Dubai on 23rd and 24th
Absolutely.
of April.
Thank you very much, sir. So I think we complete our discussion, but this journey has to keep going. Such a large experience, and the learning is immensely available with sir. It cannot be completed in one or two episode. So we'll certainly look forward many more times to come. And thank you very much, sir, for making this possible. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Sir. Thank you.